Well, to start things off, everyone, welcome to our virtual Career Fair 101 event. I'll do just a brief intro to give more time for anyone else that wants to come in, but we are going to get things started pretty soon. My name is Thomas Becker. I'm the Employer Relations Coordinator for the College of Business and Analytics Placement Center. If you've been to the past ones, you've either seen myself, Lauren, at the Handshake 101 event, or Jasmine and Jasmine and Lauren at the other two events they had last week. This is kind of a new series that we're doing, and we're trying to just go through the stages. So we did Resume 101 first. We did Interviewing 101, then Handshake 101. Now, kind of the final stage is the career fairs. Two very large career fairs are coming up, and we're going to actually go through a live demonstration. This isn't going to be a slideshow. The only reason that you see that on the shared screen is to let everyone know that you're in the right place. Dane is actually going to go through a live demonstration of how to register for the career fair, how to select employers, how to find out about employers. Lauren's going to go over etiquette, Zoom etiquette, cameras, our services, because we have a lot of services to provide you, even in this virtual world. Actually, we've added services just for the virtual part. I do want to add this is currently being recorded because we are going to post it to the college's Facebook and YouTube page. But without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Dane. I'll stop sharing my screen, but other than that, the only last housekeeping item is if you're here for extra credit, which is more than fine, please make sure to put your full name so we can pass that along to the faculty. But other than that, thank you again for coming, and Dane, it's all yours.
Okay, let me share my screen. Can everybody see it? Okay, so looking at, you scroll down and you'll see Handshake. And all you do is click that and it'll take you straight to your Handshake account. And finding the career fair is pretty easy. All you do is click events and it'll take you to all these events. There's many events on Handshake, but all you have to do is click career fair and it'll show you two of them. Job career fair, which is this coming up Tuesday, and then ours. And what we're going to do is we're going for it and show you how to do that. It's pretty simple. All you have to do is click register and you're registered. It's pretty simple. And now you can go and check what employers are here. If you like one, you can sign up for a one-on-one or sign up for a group session, which I will include that group sessions are more learning about the company. And if you really don't know about the company and you're interested, because the one-on-ones, they're really trying to learn you and why you want to be in the company. And the one-on-ones, they're more for you to ask questions about the company. So if you don't know too many questions about the company or what they do, the one-on-one will be pretty awkward. But all you have to do is say you're free at 1:20. You click that, you confirm, and then you're registered for one-on-one. Same with the group session. This will be with other people as well. It'll be just like this Zoom. So all you have to do is confirm the group session, and then you'll be registered for that. I will say you should probably go to the group session before your one-on-one just to learn more about the company and learn more questions that you will have. Talking to the employers, you only have 10 minutes to do so. So it does go pretty fast pace, and you want to get as many information as you possibly can. The employers will ask, tell me about yourself, like an interview, just to start it off. But after that, they really don't do too much talking. It's all you. I will say it's always good to have a resume copy just in case you want to refer to something else, and have a PDF copy of your resume just in case the employers want to see it or want your resume. They will have your resume with your Handshake account, and it will be attached on there. But just in case they want to forward it to someone else, they should be able to ask, and it's great to have it on hand. Are there any questions about one-on-one group sessions, how to register?
And real quick, just to add on to what Dane's saying, and please, everyone, think of questions if you're having. This is the most important part for anyone looking for an internship, for anyone looking for a full-time job once they graduate. This is where you get it. We have two very large career fairs. The university career fair has 96 employers. Our career fair currently has 14, and will probably be over 15 once the last couple employers register. But just remember. Please go to these, because this is a great time. Like Dane said, he showed, it's a great way to find out about the company. The one-on-one sessions, that's literally just you and an employer. The group sessions, more of a presentation style. And also feel free while we're doing this, to use the link that I provide to register for the CoBA career fair, as well as definitely the university career fair as well, because there are employers for all students at both the career fairs. But I just wanted to add that, and say that please use the link and register if you'd like to while this is going on.
I will add that there are filters up here. Say you're interested in marketing, you're a marketing major, you can click that. You can show results of what companies are hiring for marketing. And if you are looking for a full-time job, you can click up here, internship, you can click up here, and it will filter that out for you just to make it easier. Because if you're not interested in a full-time job and you really want an internship your junior year, you can just filter that out, and it'll show all the companies that are marketing and hiring internships as well.
Had a quick
And
question.
I guess I'll stop sharing my screen. Okay.
So this is entirely through Handshake. How does the handoff go when it comes to going to are they all Zooms? And once you sign up for one of these time slots, does it send you something to your email or something that has a Zoom link, or how does it actually happen that you get into them?
Okay, great question. So up here you have your schedule, and once it gets close to time, I believe it's 5 minutes, this join video will be available, and you click that, and it'll take you straight through Handshake and their video platform. It's not over Zoom, but it's way easier than Zoom.
Well, that's definitely, if it's all, I didn't know if it was all inside of Handshake or not. That's kind of nice, actually. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that is honestly, that's an amazing question, and yeah, exactly what Dane said. It is all in Handshake, and that is one of the things that on my end, looking at the data from our accounting career for last semester, both students and employers, that was a positive. They love the fact that the sign up for the career fairs in Handshake, the mock booths of where you can like kind of look at what an employer and their little write up, it's in Handshake, and the actual day of the video, it's all in Handshake. To be another thing with the sessions, and to give kind of a background on the data that we got, the only thing that employers said, and this is for everyone, the student side, and kind of an etiquette for the career fair, make sure to come with questions, kind of like Dane said. The employers did say sometimes even just those 10-minute talks, the employers kind of said that I can only talk about my company so long. So make sure you have questions to make it an interactive conversation. But yeah, that's actually one of the great resources and parts of Handshake in having the virtual career fair in it. It's all housed within Handshake. There's no having to go to an external source or anything like that. Great question though. And does anyone else have any other questions? And then also, Dane, if there's anything that you want to add before Lauren takes over.
Just a second quick question. I was just going to ask, is it all the same exact for the March one as well? The big one, all through Handshake?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Both the February 16th university-wide career fair and our March 3rd career fair, it's all on Handshake. So yeah, it'll and that's what the beauty of it is. So you can go under events in the overarching Handshake and register for both. And as Dane showed, it takes less than 1 minute to register for both. And then you can even, especially the university one, because it does have 96 employers. And a lot of those employers are for very specific, education majors, criminal justice majors, kind of going through some. Using that filter will be a key. So you don't have to go through all 96. You can filter out, business, your major, what you're looking for. Yes, both will be on Handshake. So it'll all be one consistent platform. And so everything we're saying today will help you with both career fairs.
I will say one really quick mention is for Dane said have your PDF ready. I mean, your resume ready in case employers ask from it. Make sure to try and have it saved and ready as a PDF so that it'll open the same on everybody's laptops and you know how it's going to look. But any other questions before I move on? Anything? Anyone? Okay, then I'll move on to my portion. So mine's really just making sure you're ready for the career fair. So make sure you've reviewed your resume. Also, you can send it in to us to get reviewed. I know a couple people have done that. I'm getting on the last of those tonight after this call. So if you've sent one in and haven't gotten a response, you'll get it tonight. But yeah, make sure you review your resume, make sure it's up to date, make sure your GPA on Handshake matches your resume because Handshake does automatically update your GPA. Make sure you're just overall ready for that. Mock interviews, we can give you those if you want to set them up so that you know ahead of time what interviews look like and how to go through an interview in this virtual world. So for both of those, you just have to email the placement@business.siu.edu to contact us and set this all up. How to dress. So it's a career fair. You need to be business professional. So, a suit, a blouse, a button up. You need to look nice. Have your hair looking decent. Go through the steps to look business professional. If you need help with clothes, we have the career closet, so you can just come to us to check out clothes to borrow for it. If you need a webcam, because for this, you can also contact us to rent those out. If you need space in order to appear up onto these video calls in a quiet area because maybe you're at home and you don't have that, or there's people running around that you can't get away from or whatever else, you can rent out a conference room so you have a quiet enclosed space to have these calls. So yeah, those are all things that we offer in getting ready for it. We have resume review, mock interviews, the career closet, webcams, and conference rooms that you can run out. So are there any questions about that and the services that we offer in order to help you get ready?
One thing that I want to add to that, seeing many semesters of trends with all the services that we have, don't wait for the last second. That's the biggest thing, because we have actually had for the accounting career fair or the university, people that come to our office the day of and want the resume reviewed. We would love to be able to instantly do that. It's just not physically possible. So there is still time. There is still time for definitely the our career fair, because it's March 3rd. You're kind of a little close if you want your resume reviewed before the 16th, but if you send it, because tomorrow's Friday, we will still be working Friday, so send it now. Send it to Placement Center tonight, and then it'll get sent out to Lauren, Jasmine, myself, and we will be able to get it reviewed to you before the 16th. The same with the career closet. If you are looking to check something out, because that's one thing, and Lauren's going to talk about more coming up, but just talking about the services part that we offer, our career closet's still open. We still want to provide that resource, but come early, because we only have so many clothes. So, if your size gets checked out, we might not be able to buy a new size that quickly. And then also just with COVID and everything, the staffing is a little different as well in our office. So making sure to come when we have, student worker there and everything. But yeah, and as well with the webcams, it is a limited number. We have about 5. And we will make sure if all 5 get checked out, we'll find one in the college. But come early if you need those, because if you come the day of on Tuesday the 16th, we might not be able to make it happen, or the day of on the 3rd. But so I just wanted to add those last 2 points.
And also, just one last thing really quick with resumes is the earlier you send it, once I get it sent back to you, you can edit it and send it back to me, and I will review it again. I'll keep reviewing it as many times as you send it, or until I'm like, there's nothing to change. Be happy with it, move on. But yeah, sending it early, because we are physical human beings reviewing it. We have to actually look at it to review it. Okay, so the next section is just kind of Zoom etiquette, which handshake etiquette, I guess, because video calling etiquette in general. But so make sure you are aware of the space that you're having this call in. Know what's in your background. If you want to go onto SIU's page to download one of the SIU backgrounds, you see all 3 of us for this presentation have different backgrounds, but you can do that. Otherwise, have a clean blank space behind you, either like blank wall or like intentionally placed objects there or whatever else. Don't have like alcohol signs all around you or curse words on posters behind you or things like that. Like, be aware of what's showing up in your camera. Don't have pets in the room. You don't need pets coming up to you or clacking around on wood floors or whatever else it may be. You don't need cat tails moving along the camera. But keep pets out of the room. Don't do or say anything on camera that you wouldn't do in person in front of this employer. So if in person in front of this employer you wouldn't do it, don't do it just because you're behind the camera now, because it's still the same general concept of interacting with those employers. I mean, this goes along with everything else so far, but minimize background noise. Make sure your phone ringers are off. If there's a really loud fan in the background that you can shut off, shut it off. Try not to have timers going off during it. Whatever else noise there might be going on, if you can minimize that, it'll be easier to understand them and for them to understand you as well. Have a test run beforehand. Girls, I've noticed for myself at least, your necklines appear a lot different on camera based off where they cut off on you than they might in person. So that, combined with, if you're choosing a background and you want to know what it looks like or whatever else, make sure you do a test run ahead of time, just so you know how you're going to appear on video. Make sure your audio works, make sure your camera works, because you don't want, in this 10-minute window you might have of your one-on-one, you don't want 5 minutes of that being spent setting it up because you can't get it to work. So if you can just get a test run of your camera, your audio, whatever else ahead of time, it'll make your life easier. We've heard from other people that some employers are tricking students into standing up, which I'm not. That sounds uncomfortable to me, but be aware of that in case someone does and you're like in your pajamas, or if you're not in a suit from head to toe, because you're like, well, they'll only see from here up, so I'm only going to wear, a button up and a suit coat. I'm not going to actually wear the suit pants too. Or I'm not sure if our employers are going to do that. I really hope not, but just be aware that that has happened somewhere from what we've heard from other people.
Yeah, to give a background on that really quickly, just because I'm sure that might raise some confusion from students, but that I have not heard that at all from our employers. For the accounting
Right.
career for any of our employers, it was something that did happen at the university career for last semester. That and I think it was either one of the majors that they would have projects to be able to show. So I'm not really sure which major, but that's kind of how it happened. Was an employer actually asked like, "Oh, hey, can you go get us an example of this?" Or it could even be something of, "Oh, we can't see you that well. Can you get up and turn a light on?" And I will be completely honest, you as the student, if that happened, you do have to ask yourself the question of, someone that does this, is this the culture I want to work for? To be completely honest, to think about that. Now I will say we haven't had it. We haven't had any of our employers, but just to be cognizant, so you're all prepared. We're telling the true details of what we have heard and what we've experienced. And then also at the end of the day, I do recommend students to dress completely professional, because honestly, you'll feel more in the setting. You're dressing for that job you want. You're dressing for that event you're going to. So to kind of to boost you up, instead of just the pajamas you might be in if you're doing a Zoom class. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like whenever you work from home at the same time, you're not gonna be in a full button up. But if I go to a meeting, I'm going to dress up completely from head to toe, even if they can only see the top half of my body. So that I just wanted to give some background on that. And then really quickly before Lauren goes on, I wanted to highlight the noise part, and just to give some real world examples. Whenever Lauren, Dane, and I were on the call at 4:45, because we logged in early, both of our calendars dinged, and it was really loud and you could hear it. And it's because the 15-minute warning for the event starting. So think about that. Your Outlook calendar, if you have an event schedule, make sure that's not on. If you have Facebook on your computer and you have it to where it through the desktop sends notifications, make sure those are shut off, because you don't want to be in a 10-minute long handshake one-on-one, and then 5 minutes into it they just hear this ding, or someone trying to call you remotely. You don't want that. So that's just kind of real world examples and things to think of. Make sure your phone, make sure it's silent. It's fine if it's around, it's virtual, so you don't have to hide it, but honestly I probably would put it away from the desk so it's not distracting. You don't want the phone to light up and then you're just here staring at it and calling someone. So that's just some things that I wanted to add. And then that was the part about the employers. But at the end of the day, if you need dress clothes, come to the career closet.
Quick question.
Go for it.
So is it too against etiquette in that situation to just turn your video off while you go and do something and come back? Or, I mean, do you need to prompt them if that's the case? And then I also have a suggestion real quick on, is the old radios, used to be PTT, the push to talk. So that's a good practice with this. If you're not talking, turn your audio off every time, and that avoids a lot of those issues.
Oh, that recommendation is amazing. I mean, that definitely is, because you can tell meetings, especially large scale meetings like this, whenever someone doesn't use that mute. That is an amazing recommendation that I want everyone here to listen to. Use that mute button. That is the most powerful thing whenever you're in a virtual setting, because sometimes even if you don't use the mute button, the person on the other end can hear the reverb from your speakers, and then it's just an echo. We've had that in our own office and meetings, and then it's like, hey, everyone, use your mute button. For the video one, I would say whatever you're most comfortable with. If someone does ask you, and I don't see our employers doing that at all, yes, if you have to, I would, you can turn your camera off. I would say on the etiquette side, 1,000% for the career for have your camera on, and with the intention of probably not turning it off. But if you have to go do something and you don't want them to see something, you don't have to. That is your private space, and those have to understand that. But overall, have your camera on so they can see you, because this is a virtual career fair and not a phone interview. So whenever you do the one-on-ones, the group sessions, that's the reason we offer the webcams. But yes, if there's something you need to do and you don't want them to see the background of your house or something, then yeah, that is more than fine to turn it off for that. But most of the times, leave it on if you can, I would suggest.
Yeah. Oh, another thing with audio is if you do find that you're having a lot of the feedback or the loop or whatever, headphones. Headphones usually will cancel it out, because the sound going in and where your mic is picking it up won't usually cross. So headphones will help a million times if you have any of that problem. That way, you can probably notice in all of my presentations, these headphones in. I had like the long corded headphones for my other two presentations. But if you do have audio problems, headphones will work. I would say maybe the one time you might turn your camera off is if like your internet gets really slow and you talk to them and you're like, hey, my internet's super slow right now. Can I just turn the camera off so maybe the audio will work better? Because then there's less feed happening. But that's more of a in the moment call versus a planning ahead of time call. So I'll keep moving on then. The next thing, having your camera on, which we said, and then being attentive, especially the group sessions. I feel like you'd be more likely to fall into the habit of like, lounging or looking off into space or looking somewhere else or whatever else. But make sure you're present, make sure you look like you're paying attention, you're attentive, either sitting up straight, maybe leaning forward a little bit like you're listening. Make it look like you're present and you're active and you're participating and you want to learn and you want to be there, because they want to see someone that wants it compared to someone that doesn't care, because that's just wasting their time. And then I kind of mentioned this earlier, but also when you do your test runs, look at your camera angle. If your camera's sitting on top of your laptop and it's way up here, that looks different than if it's like way down here, which like be aware of your camera angle, and if necessary, like play around with your camera angle to find what looks best, what you're most comfortable with, and everything else that you can control. And then, do your test run. Do your test run for audio. Do your test run for the video. Know what time of day it's happening to know if your lighting is good. Because I know in these presentations I had, if you were at my very first one, which was the Resume 101, the sun went down halfway through the presentation. And when I looked back at my camera, probably nobody could actually see my face anymore. So I had to get up and go turn my light on in my room really quick because I'd lost the sunlight. So be aware of your lighting, be aware of what's in your background, or put a background up so then you don't have to worry about it. And then be aware of your internet if you can. I mean, that's something that you have a little bit less control over than everything else, but try and make sure your internet's working, making sure it's working fast. If not, maybe you should rent out a conference room to then be on the school's internet so it'll work a little bit better. Or maybe you need to, I don't know, go to the library and check out a library room, or like try and find a space that has good internet if you know it's going to be a problem. But I believe that is all. If anybody has any remaining questions, that is the last of my interview portion. I mean, my career fair portion. So open it up for any remaining questions. Oh, yeah, roommates. Yes. Let your roommates know this is happening, so they're not just like barging into your room in the middle of it to be like, I gotta tell you something, while you're talking to an employer and you're like, I'm kind of busy. Please don't cuss on camera.
And that is a really good suggestion too. Also, the them barging in, them like you said, Matthew, the bandwidth, because if you do live, in an apartment, there's 4 other people. You don't want you doing the career fair and doing that via handshake, and then them streaming Netflix on one, streaming Hulu on the other. So that is a great suggestion of if you do have roommates to and any shared type of Wi-Fi or internet, that to be like, hey, do a crossword puzzle, like read a book that time. Please don't use your computer. And then also that goes back to just our services as well. The college does. I mean, we have very, very high speed Wi-Fi for the most part. We've had a few times where it's blipped out, but overall, we've never had a connection issue where, in the office, because it's at SIU, so you can rent one of our conference rooms, use our Wi-Fi, and that, so that would solve a lot of problems. It'd be a quiet place, it'd be reliable internet, It'd be, you know, a professional space that you wouldn't have to share with anyone. We're not going to have 3 people in a conference room. That conference room and that room is yours for that time. So that kind of helps with all of those. But yeah, does anyone have any questions? Dane or Lauren, do you have any other things to add to this?
I do not. I would just reiterate the resumes, send them in early so we can review them more than once if you want. Or just give us a chance to review them so we don't just get flooded with resumes the day of. Can you review this before my one-on-one in an hour? I'll try, but maybe.
And the whole reason that we say these things is because it has happened. We have had people that have come in, and we are more than we really do whatever it takes. But we can only do so much because we are just human beings. I will say to add on that this is my final thing to add on. Well, if Dane has anything to say after me, I see because I have it on the other screen. I see who is registered for the career fair. I know that not all of you have registered yet, so please use the link that I included to register for both the College of Business and Analytics one as well as the university one. Both have amazing employers. We have new employers that we've never worked with before. Pretty much every single employer actively has something on there. Accounting internships. We even have an analytics internship, which is a brand new program. Marketing, management. So please register for those. But that's all I have to add. Dan, do you have any final closing remarks?
I will say, make sure you test run is very important because your system preferences, like I have a MacBook and I had a one-on-one session with a company based out of St. Louis, and for some reason my camera was not working. He could hear me, but I could not have my camera on. And then after our one-on-one session, I figured out that my system preferences for Safari was locked into not sharing my camera. So it ended up being okay. He understood, but you don't want that to happen at the career fair because it's so fast paced. And when you lose that time, you're losing opportunities.
I will say one last thing is if you want a physical copy of your resume to reference, you can send that in to us. And like after we review it, we will print out that for you so you can have, you know, just a physical resume sitting next to you that maybe isn't on the screen because your screen's taken up by talking to someone. But that is all. Unless Thomas has anything else to say, I'm gonna just close it out. Thank you everyone for coming. I hope you learned something. I hope it reinforced some knowledge you might have had. Feel free to contact us with any more questions, and this is recorded, so it will be up online. Not this week, next week, I think, maybe earliest. Yep, Thomas is nodding yes, so probably next week. Thank you, and I'll stay on until everybody's gone in case you have any lingering questions. So thank you for your time and have a good night.